Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roulette Recap. This is a 2-hour special featuring a panel of myself, Observer, Deadly Muffin Man, and Crazy4Daisy. And we will be discussing the events, moments, and everything in between of Roulette Rivals 15. Let my cast say hello real quickly.
Hello, 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 everybody.
Alright, is the um audio levels alright? Or Alright, so first up, welcome on to the show. I would didn't hear a thing. Alright, Caster, say something.
Hello.
Hello, peoples of the chat.
Alright, is that better or um, very low?
Oh, very low.
Uh, try it now.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I've got it like all the way up. Um,
Maybe try it in actual Discord. Right click this.
I do it. Let me see if I can. Try it now.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Also, even if you have it at 100%, you can very much go to like ridiculous amount of percentage, as I've found out in the past.
Working on it. Uh, Still need more anyone or
Hopefully it's a bit better now.
Yeah, hopefully. Gibbs has a little bit more.
Observer is fine according to Growery. Um,
I mean, that seems unrelated. I knew that, but talking about audio levels, that's a different story.
uh, yeah, I feel like OBS is probably louder than, or just sounds louder than the rest of us.
all right. It says they're better, but and I can't figure out how to increase it. Daisy, are you here?
Easy's around.
Uh, Hello.
Daisy. Crazy4Daisy.
Damn.
Are you muted, Daisy? Or
We've already lost a caster.
well, Daisy is in the channel, so he's. But all right. Well, anyways, as I was saying, this is a show recapping the events of Roulette Rivals 15. And to start, let's talk about some statistics of Roulette Rivals 15 itself. Alright, so Roulette Rivals 15 had 47 players enter. I mean, you can't get a better number than that. But, and overall, this roulette season has had quite a lot of signups between 13, 14, and 15. I mean, we have 78 plus players on the leaderboard for the Roulette Rivals World Championship, which is insane to me. But I mean, you look at some of the matches that we've had happen Roulette in R15. I mean, we had a rematch between Max Masters and Osh Hitman, which the first time they met, very impressive, long match, and this time delivered as well. Anything that y'all would like to point out?
Okay.
Just. Oh,
So my mic. So everyone was muted. So I thought we were silent. So that's why I wasn't talking. Where are we? I just got audio back.
Oh, well,
We're-
we are right at the beginning. Can everyone hear
Oh.
Daisy now?
Can everyone hear me? Hello? I can hear you guys now.
Yeah, we can hear you here. Hopefully, chat can hear you.
Can chat hear Daisy? Turn up Daisy.
Okay.
Let's see if I can.
Huge apologies for that.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah. Of course, Streamlabs volume is being a little bit
stream.
difficult right now, but
I could try turning it up on my side if that could help.
that could help. Let's try that. I've got the Cocaster audio setting configured all the way to 1, so 100%.
Okay,
Well, I mean,
how's this? Am I too loud or am I good now?
They're
Or...
saying you were very quiet previously, so
Yeah, okay, so don't be shy with the turning up.
I will say 100% is not max whatsoever in
I
either
have it
Streamlabs
at-
or OBS.
Yeah, I have it at 140 now. Do I need to go to 200 or like
they're saying
could be louder still? Okay.
yeah.
Let's just be a bit safe 180. 180 seems buzzy. Yeah, that's probably hmm.
All right. Kevin said panel volume is fine, so
Okay.
all right.
Wonderful. Let's get
The
this
buzziness
already
is probably
started.
distortion
All
before.
right. So, all right. Just checking everything else one more time. All right, we should be good. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, what I was saying is like, Roulette Rivals 15, we had 47 people signed up, and every single person who signed up, I believe, played a match. Of course, we did have 2 early dropouts in I Like Hitman and Goulet due to unforeseen circumstances, but they did still get to play a match. I mean, and in terms of matches played, we have had 91 matches played or completed in challenge for this tournament. Very impressive amount. Shout out to everyone who casted a match, everyone who adminned a match. Great job. And, across this Roulette Rival season of 3 tournaments, we have had, I think we're at about 80 plus players that are on the point standings leaderboard right now, which is honestly insane. I don't think I've ever seen this amount of participation before, but I mean, yeah. Are there any points that y'all would like to make about the statistics? I mean, feel free to cut in.
Yeah, no, like you said, like this is I'm pretty sure the most entered RR, which is insane. During that, a lot of people. I remember like back even when I first started joining, people were saying like, "Oh man, like RR is stale, RR is dying, Hitman's dying," and now like it's literally becoming bigger and bigger every year. So that's like really cool to see.
Yeah, it really is incredible. I mean, I I remember R12 we had like 30 tops, and then to jump from that to 59 for 2 tournaments in a row with the 23 World Championship and R13 was just incredible, and it really hasn't fallen off either because I mean, sure you have a lot of returning players, but this has been the year of returns. I mean, we had Vovamotus come back. We had Lord Monk come back. We had K Kineta come out of retirement and do crazy good in R13. And in this tournament, I mean, we had Max Masters come back and after a long absence, and Soviet Dubov come back after a long absence. And we even saw Blunts and Beats come out and play for what I want to say is his third tournament, and I mean he made it to losers bracket round 4. Very good job from him. But yeah, so that being said, let's move on to our first segment, impressive players. All right. So, before the stream, I had each of the casters pick out 1 or 2 players that really impressed them for this tournament. So, who would like to start?
I guess
Hmm.
I could. My picks were Greyery and Dynaso. So Greyery was he had a really good run as like a RR rookie. We've seen him in the past and everything, and he's even participated in one of my event hit miss and got third. But I did not expect him to be this good because, like, doing a video game tournament since 16, like the pressure of a match is something that nobody can predict for their first tournament and everything. So to see him kind of just overcome that, like first try, get really good spins, that was really hype. And Dynaso, that one's like more of a personal pick because I actually introduced him to RR. So like I literally saw him like from first spin all the way to like there, and see him like take out T-Nor and like do really good against Rocky was really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Did Observer Muffin? Did y'all want to go?
Yeah, I can go.
Oh,
Now, my turn. I'll be quick. Yeah, the
Go
two
ahead.
players I had were Music Inc. and Ducker, which Ducker is obviously going to be a big talking point for a lot of people. But yeah, Music was just crazy. This one, I had some of their matches up there, and they actually faced against Ducker in the previous RR, and we got to see how that played out. And Music actually swept Ducker, but they're both really pulling their weight this time. For Music in this tourney, he's been going against like some of the biggest players that were probably favorites, like Fanium and Reaper, and almost getting sweeps on both of them, and even taking one against Joker, who was like an unsurprising underdog in a way, as like same way people are looking at Ducker, they kind of a return character in the series. But yeah, there's just been a lot of players that are coming back from a long time ago that you wouldn't kind of expect, and they're holding their weight really well. Like it's not just consistency; they're coming there with the new strats, and they've been watching. I think in the background, learning all this new stuff, and it's really paying off for them. It's really sick to see this bit of like a return of the greats in the Roulette Rivals as of recently.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna say impressive players. For me personally, I've got to say I was most impressed this tournament with uh losing my words here, Growery. Man, he's been in the community for a long time. You know, never really played before, coming in as a rookie, and you know you've seen him in Roulette League from time to time, and it it's just incredible how well he did. I mean, he didn't have an easy path to where he is at now either, or where he ended up at. I mean, he had Hausen, a returning player that did very good, showed very good stuff in RR14. You know, Hausen has also been a part of the community for a while and won several speedrun competitions and stuff. And then I mean, he goes through Hausen 3-2 or 6-4. He goes through Peter Dutton 3-2. I like Hitman, a former RR finalist, goes through 3 or actually 7-3 with one timeout draw in that match. And then he gets to Froat, and Froat is 4-time RR champion, incredible player, possibly one of the all-time greats. And he takes the first 2 maps from Froat. Of course, Froat does come back and reverse sweeps him, but then he's left with another tough challenge in U Observer, and he holds his own there too. I mean, grabbing 2 maps, 4 and 5 respectively, still falls short 6-4, but I mean I could definitely see him going for far in another tournament. But yeah, all right, Muffin.
Yeah, I had similar picks to other people actually with Ducker, Music Inc., and kind of adding on Dynaso, mainly because I casted a few of the matches that Daisy mentioned, and it was very fun getting to watch Dynaso play as well. But Music Inc. is done astonishingly in his second RR, I believe, which is also the same amount that I've been a part of, but I'm very much not as good of a player. When I just missed out on registration for 13, so it was 14 and 15. But it's being able to see those players that only are in a few RRs play so well and get to the finals, going from ninth in the last RR to grand finals. This one is just incredible. And then watching Ducker as well, just a wonderful player to observe.
All right, now, um, let's head to the highlight reel. All right, so with this, definitely want to highlight all the rookies of the tournament. We were talking about Dinosaur. I mean, had very good matches this tournament. Played against T-Nort 23, Rocky, and believe his other opponent was
Red Fox, I believe.
yeah. Yep, you're right. No, Pidgeiro. Yeah, Pidgeiro was Dinosaur's third opponent. Impressive rookie. You can see him here doing a lot of good stuff. A lot of, he has a lot of map knowledge, has a lot of kills. It's on these maps from these matches, that were very good. And yeah, next rookie I want to highlight. We've got Alf. All right. And of course that breaks. Hold up. Technical difficulties. Hold on.
And this is a quick. He's zooming on there. That was nice. Both players got those speed hacks working for them.
No wonder he got the recce.
Exactly.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Alf, of course, very impressive rookie. I mean, he got a record in his, second or third match? I mean, and it's not like he had an easy path either. I mean, he went through Observer. Then he lost to the now grand finalist Music Inc. I mean, no shame in that, especially for a rookie. And then in his first losers bracket match against Soviet Dubov, he not only sweeps for his second match for his third, he sweeps his third match of the tournament, and he picks up a record in the process on Berlin. And I think that record was 513.
I think you're right. Yeah, it was very close to that. Let's check it right now for you just to make sure. 516 against Soviet, yeah.
And then unfortunately he did end up against Mu in his second losers round match, but he took a map, and anytime you're able to take a map off of someone like Mu or someone like Scruffy or Fanium, it's really impressive, and it's even more impressive if it's your first tournament.
Yeah, they played amazingly for a rookie. And like you were saying earlier, I think was our first match against me. You were saying? I think that was my first opponent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally let my guard down for a moment, and even if I played well, they played amazingly. I definitely underestimated Alf. the moment they entered, and they played so good.
Yep. Right. Next rookie, of course, Growry. We already discussed him a bit, but I mean, and that goes back to breaking it.
Yeah, all three rookies, I think there was three, right?
Yeah.
Playing exceptionally well throughout like the whole tournament, and really not having that like rookie status truly affect them at all.
Yeah, no, like before you would see rookie on something, or like, okay, we're gonna see like mediocre gameplay at best, maybe like popular strats done okay. But now it's completely changed where you see rookie and you're like, you don't know what you're gonna see. You could see the next, Scruffy for all we know. So it's just really cool how far the rookie game has come up.
Yeah, and I mean, these rookies weren't the only players I wanted to highlight. We've also got the players that returned after more than one tournament away. I mean, we're talking like Blunts and Beats here, of course, did very well in his first tournament back since Roulette Rivals World Championship 2022. And, he went through quite a few people after dropping down to Gorg in round one of the winners bracket. He went through Peter Dutton, he went through Crescent 7, and, he did play Channel Join. Channel Joined is a very good player. Blunts and Beats is also a very good player. I mean, there's no shame in losing to someone like that. But, yeah. Blunts appeared, and he was great. Absolutely fantastic gameplay from someone who hasn't been in a match in, I want to say, 2 years. Which, just insane to keep up that level. Soviet Dubov returned after last playing also in the 2022 World Championship. And, he had a tough bracket. I mean, his second opponent was Alf. I mean, anytime you're against a rookie that takes a record like against you, that's, nothing you can really do to prepare for that. But his other opponent was Rommel of the Far East, very good player. He had a couple of highlights. And, of course, last but not least, I want to highlight Max Masters, played against Osh, Hitman, and King Camel. Had a really good, some really good sportsmanship in these matches. Never got upset when he was down. Always tried something new if what he was currently trying didn't work out. I mean, very good instincts from this guy. I mean, while scrubbing these matches for highlights, I mean, I saw quite a few times where like what he was trying wasn't really working for him, and he was just able to pivot on the spot. Very talented players can do that. And yeah. All right. Now, I would like to invite Cabin to join us. And are you here?
Hey, Cab.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I could hear that beautiful voice all day.
Incredible. All right.
Thank-
Is the audio all right for chat?
And thank you very kindly for the kind words as well, while I have the chance to say so.
All right. So, did one of y'all want to get started with the questions?
I could get started. Cab,
Yes?
you name Cabin.
Why I'm named Cabin?
Yeah. Like, is it just
Uh,
a name or like story of why you picked your username?
so it is based off of my real name, Casper, and I believe it was my uncle who came up with the nickname of Cabin. And then that just kind of stuck when I became terminally online, so to say, and had to come up with a username for myself. And then, of course, that got shortened to Cab later on.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's alright. They're a very fun uncle. They're a very good uncle, and I do appreciate them for coming up with this name.
All right. Um, I'll take the next question, I guess. All right. So, the last time we saw you in a Roulette Rivals tournament as a player was also the first time, I believe, in Roulette Rivals World Championship 2022.
That is true, yes.
All right. Do you have any plans on returning to the gameplay, as a player?
Don't count on it. How much do you want me to talk about this specific thing?
uh, that's a fine answer. I mean, yeah.
Because yeah, I can get into the reasons of why, but we can also leave it at that. I'm fine with either or.
I'm fine with leaving it at that.
Very well.
Was just curious, you know.
No worries.
Yeah. All right.
For Cab, as a caster, what has surprised you throughout this tournament?
What has surprised me? Well, a lot. It's a very generic answer, but a lot. It can't be denied. It can't be denied that I do have that one particular highlight where I am particularly flabbergasted at a certain Mendoza rip. So out of just pure surprise and shock, I do believe that takes the cake. It's very hard to beat the quality of that highlight. Besides that, I mean, I've been really enjoying just seeing all of the players. I've been really surprised by some of the strategies that have been developed. Oh, there was that one match where one of the players shot up a shotgun in Dubai to Carl Ingram on the balcony. That was really well done. So if I had to put it in a way, I guess it would be like that.
All right. All right. So, along the lines, Cab, what has been your favorite match to watch as a viewer or caster?
Ooh. I'm afraid I might not have an answer for that one. I have a very hard time picking favorites, if I'm going to be honest.
That's completely fair, man.
If I had to like refine that question for Cab, it makes it easier because it kind of lines up with my question. Is what kind of stuff do you enjoy like in cast? What do you
Um,
Do not take this in the wrong way, but anything that lets me play with my emotions and get invested with both of the players is my jam. Because that's kind of my philosophy behind casting, that I put in some emotional investment for both of the players. Extreme example, but if one player wins, I get $1 million. If the other player loses, the world ends. and that just sort of applies for both players, and that kind of makes me like really get invested in both of them and wanting both of them to win, and also just absolutely feeling for them when there are some unfortunate rips and such. So any sort of match that makes it like that, any sort of match where there is some sort of like back and forth, whether it's like some absolutely amazing gameplay where both players are like super super fast, or there are some unfortunate rips, or something in between. Anything that gives me something to get invested in is something I absolutely love.
All right, Cab, you said what you enjoy in a cast, but who is your favorite caster or casters that kind of motivated you or inspired you?
Ooh. Sorry, I'm having trouble answering that. Do I dare say like all of you are essentially, or like there isn't there isn't no specific caster, so to say, that made me motivate me. It was more or less just the job of being a caster, of being in the seat, and just letting the smart people, letting the smart players come up with the smart things and the smart strategies, and you just get to be there to enjoy it, react to it, and just be amazed. However, I will say, I do. Oh, I. Oh, No, I love you all, damn it.
Hey man, if you say one, we understand that you love us all, but like.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
can't.
anyone would take offense to it, man.
I just got a DM from Cab. That's crazy.
Whoa!
No! No!
In the server, let's go!
No!
We got it out of
Stop! Stop! No! Stop!
All right.
Yeah. No. Yeah. To summarize, when it comes to like becoming a caster, I wasn't motivated by anyone specific. When it comes to like enjoying casters, I enjoy a lot of you, and we'll leave it at that.
All right. Any more questions?
I guess I want to ask, Cab, as like you've been casting matches, do you think, what's your overall like feeling of how players are getting on? Like, the question I want to ask is, as someone who watches so many, do you feel like the meta is changing? I know this is a weird question, but do you think rookies are getting better? Do you think roulette is becoming more accessible to people? Do you think the interest is growing, or what do you think that is happening with the environment of roulette?
All right, that's a loaded question, but I think I can answer this. Rookies getting better? Yes, absolutely. We have seen that in multiple tournaments now, and that has been amazing to see. Learning new strategies and roulette becoming more accessible? Absolutely to that as well. With me specifically, I have sort of like 2-year gaps in between me being active in this community, but I do very strongly recall that, for example, Roulette Rivals 3, there was essentially nothing besides, I believe there was a document that was made later on, and then for the World Championship 2022, it was the buff guy videos that I would watch in preparation for the World Championship. And then here, now today, we have like so many things. We have the Mila note, we have the roulette resources, of which I have just sort of watched in my own time just to see the quality of teaching out roulette strategies and trying to like learn it more myself so I can make more informed and better casts. And for that matter, the Roulette Resources channel has been absolutely amazing for that, and I am immensely grateful for it. Finally, to answer the question of like interest for Roulette Rivals and players participating, I will admit I cannot say that for sure.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Thank you very kindly for the very detailed question and for hearing my answer.
No worries. Great answer.
Thank you.
Well,
I wait. If we're about to wrap up, I actually have one that I wanted to ask Cab.
yeah, let's
Cab,
go ahead and make this
Oh.
the final question, alright?
okay, I will.
Cool.
How much of Cab is an act, and how much is legit?
Okay, that's a good question and one that I have been pondering about myself on occasion. It feels kind of it feels very okay. I am a bit nervous about going behind the curtain here, but let's go. So, the emotional part of Cabcast is real, so to say. Like me putting emotion into the matches is real, and with, for example, Ghoul versus Parabluey, that Mendoza clip, like that, all of that was extremely genuine. The thing that's an act, I would say, is the whole, so to say, that I purposefully do put in this emotion, that I sometimes play it up even and go like deeper into it, because believe it or not, I know this is going to sound extremely weird. I'm not exactly an expressive person. When it comes to like day-to-day life and like work and school and such, I am not exactly expressive at all. But casting is an option for me to be more expressive than I usually get to be, and an excellent opportunity as well where I can also entertain others with my expressiveness.
All right.
So, yeah, I don't know how to summarize that answer, but I believe that's as best as I can put it, if you'll accept it.
Oh no, that's more than good. Like that was a great answer.
Yeah,
Like
great.
Thank you.
Get it.
Yeah, absolutely great answers, Cab. Well, thank you for joining us.
And thank you for having me. This has been incredibly lovely.
Alright. Well, when we come back from our first ad break, we will be discussing some surprises. So, a top 5 list. And later in the stream, we will have 37 joining us for another interview. So, that being said, I'm going to cut to ads. And yeah, we'll see y'all in a few minutes. Alright, welcome back to Roulette Recap. So, coming up next, or right now actually, each of the casters were asked to pick a couple of surprises to, talk about. So, I'm keeping the same order discussed. Muffin?
For surprises, correct?
Yes.
For me, it would have to be the Ducker Scruffy match, as while casting it and listening to or looking at the chat beforehand and during it, everyone was like expecting Scruffy to pretty much sweep uh, Ducker pretty much like instantly, and then the match gets started and Ducker does well, keeps winning, and takes the match with tons of surprise, and it was honestly a stunning moment. Everyone was like, Scruffy's untouchable, and then that happens.
Observer?
Yeah, one of mine, similar to Dilly Muffin, was the Scruffy Duggar match, and yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with it. I guess it was just the whiplash of it, right? We didn't expect that kind of outcome. We expected a good fight, but the other one I had was the Grary run, which you kind of touched on earlier, and how there's so many players I could have picked instead of Grary, but Grary especially has just been been amazing this tourney, and they're clearly going to be contesting up there with players like Reaper and Dynamo soon enough with the pace that they're climbing at. Yeah, it's just sick to see, and I hope to see a lot of these surprising players in the future tournaments, especially the World Championship, because that's really where you can make your biggest mark.
Absolutely. Alright. So, for my surprises, honestly, the first surprise for me was really Reaper's early exit. I mean, we're talking a very consistent player. Came in 4th place on multiple tournaments. Has been playing since RR8, I want to say. And, I mean, he's climbed the leaderboard fast. I mean, he got here, and then he showed up and he kept winning. And, last tournament he reached the highest point he's ever gotten to as an RR finalist, where he did drop to Scruffy, but, coming into this tournament, almost everyone was expecting him to go far in the challenge predictions. I mean, I predicted him to win. And then you see him go 1-on-1 versus Rocky, he sweeps. 1-on-1 versus Channel Joined, he loses a map, but he wins 6-2. And then he goes against Music Inc., one of the, most surprising players of the tournament. And he gets swept. Like, that's just not something you expect to see every day. And then, he still has another shot in loser's bracket. But with Ducker performing at the almost as good as the height of his career, he takes 2 maps, but still loses by a score of 7-5. In a really incredible match. And, you have him go out. It's losers round 5. Everyone expected him to at least make top 3, top 4. And he drops, like, so early. Nothing he could do about it. I mean, the players he was playing are really good players. And honestly, that was a real shock. And then the other thing that really did surprise me this tournament was King Camel, and it was more of an impressive surprise for him. I mean, King Camel, he's played a few of these tournaments, hasn't really had the best results in the past. Is a very good player though. And round 1 he gets very unlucky, matches up against 37, the 4-time the 4-time champion that has been playing on top of his game this tournament, reaching 3rd place. And he drops to the losers bracket, and then he faces Max Masters. He faces David Red Sox after Goulet unfortunately had to drop out. and then he faces Ducker. But the thing is, I think this tournament produced the first King Camel wins, according to our article a few days ago. And he won his matches by quite a lot. Like, I mean, his first match was, or his match against Max was 6-2 victory for him. And then David Red Sox, a former RR finalist himself, he beats David 6-2 as well. I mean, it's only unfortunate that his round 4 matchup in the losers bracket did have to be against the 6-time champion Ducker. Like, I mean, really impressive run from a returning player. And yeah. So, Daisy?
All right. For my surprise, I put down music beating Fania, just because it represents kind of like the hype and potential that music can be. Like, I know I do a lot of Smash Bros. Comparisons because that was the game I played before. But in Smash, there's these players called the gods, right? And in that world, if a god enters a tournament, they're gonna win it, like no matter what. And I feel like Hitman has the same thing with players like Scruffy, Fanium, Time Cube, and For Fun, where if they enter, like they're gonna be the ones winning. And to see Music Inc. beat Fanium, it almost kind of puts into question like, is Music Inc. gonna be the next top player, kind of like Joker J or Observer, where they're really good, but like they aren't, like at least in the foreseen future, going to be taking tournaments, or is he going to become like a god and start taking some RRs, so yeah.
Yeah. And, alright. So, surprises of the tournament? Anyone have any honorable mentions? Or
Yeah, I suppose I can tell you who I was
this
thinking, but
what thing, but
Quintility was the main person I was going to say.
Alright.
Amazing player that I feel like they haven't touched like a spotlight as much as a lot of other players have, but their consistency has just been amazing. And yeah, they easily could, if they came second or first in the next tourney, I actually wouldn't be too surprised of all the people might have put for their predictions on challenge.
Yeah,
This
Quintility is
isn't much
definitely
of
more
a
impressive.
this isn't much exactly of a surprise, but like sort of in a way of Fanium really getting sent into the losers bracket early and just having to fight his way back into grand finals through just because of facing Music Inc. early on, and now is back at it again in the finals, but had to basically fight every match just to make it back.
Yeah, and I mean, with this tournament, the way the bracket was set up, we saw a lot of those big names in the losers bracket early on. I mean, I think we had like what, 3 champions and 3 finalists in the losers bracket all at once at one point, and you know, like there were a ton of big names in the losers bracket to start with. I mean, round 1 you have Moo and Pidgeotto, just to name a few. You've got Observer, of course. You've got uh freaking I Like Hitman falling down shortly after. You've got Fanium in round 3, which, I don't think anyone saw that many big names going down that fast. But yeah. Alright. So next, let's talk about the top 5 must-watch matches. And we have each prepared a list. So, up first, let's start with Muffin.
Yes, awesome. A nice list on the stream as well. I don't think anyone could argue against Scruffy versus Joker. Just absolutely intense match, going down to the wire constantly, and just the fact that it had to come back as well later just to finish it off. 3 ties, and only 3 match wins as well, which the match that ended up sending Scruffy down to the losers bracket in the position he did, and which led to him getting out as well. Just a crazy old match. As well as T-Nort versus Dynaso is personally a map that I enjoyed. I casted it as well, and just like seeing players that you don't always expect to make it super far, but in those earlier rounds they're playing for their survival in the losers bracket, and just enjoying seeing the not as good players play and do pretty well, and just getting to experience it as well. Same thing with Dynaso versus Rocky, another one of my casts, which it's a little going towards me as well, but I do always enjoy the ones that I get to cast because they're just it's always enjoyable to watch the players. And for someone who isn't super good at roulette, but is playing as much as I can, always learning stuff new from both the really good players and the players that aren't at the same level. Joker versus Music Inc. A tense fight. Yeah, with plenty of back and forth. Music Inc. taking another big name, you would say, off of the sending them down to losers bracket, and then finally Fanium versus Moo. Just a enjoyable match to watch. I personally enjoyed it, and a very tight one with a tie, and then 2 wins for Moo, and then 3 wins for Fanium to win the match as well.
Yeah. All right. Observer.
Yeah, so I definitely have a couple of overlaps with Muffin, maybe 2 at most, but yeah, my top of my list, as most people are probably unsurprised, is Scruffy versus Joker. That's the cover of the RR15 book, I think, for a lot of people. Just history rewritten, or not even rewritten, written new because of the double tiebreaker, which was just absolute gold television for a cast. Yeah, just 2 greats going against each other, and you love to see it go to the very end like that. And it was just literally perfect match. Second one then was Scruffy again, but against Ducker. So kind of the other side of the spectrum there for Scruffy, and just seeing an OG come back and actually fight who we consider one of the giants over the rival Scruffy, and really make a shocking game for a lot of people. I don't think many people had that in their bingo card, was Ducker beating Scruffy in the later lower bracket round, but that is how it went. Third one then, Rote versus Grary. Kind of the same vein as the previous one, but just a player making their name known against a great, right? Grary almost taking a clean sweep against Fro. Fro obviously coming back in the end, but we all know how the bracket could have went. If Grary won that match, they could have easily gotten a 3rd place out of this and win. Then 4th up, we have Reaper versus Music Inc. That was in bracket round 4, and Music Inc., as I was saying earlier, is one of my surprising players. He's just been surprising me more and more. He's really put the time in, and it's really paying off. And it is a shame to see a player like Reaper go out so soon, but Music really put up a good fight against him. And he's very fast. It's not even a matter of consistency. He's just a very fast and well executed player. And they're both playing out really well for him. Then finally, Nomos and Froat. And again, it's just great players. And Froat has always been such a consistent player, and Dine has been more recent on the scene. And these 2 players to me are just so perfectly matched that I love seeing them play, because they kind of tackle different times of roulette. And yeah, the fixture, as we know, was great. Woodfro taking it 3-1, I think, or 6-2 even, and cementing his place against Music, which, yeah, it's a great match. And overall, just, yeah, I think it's just been a team of the OGs versus the greats for me. That's been really making this Roulette Rivals unique to the rest.
So for my top 5 must-watch matches, I'm gonna start from the bottom up. 5th place, Fanium versus Music Inc. Winners bracket round 3. And for me, it was really between this one or Fanium versus Observer actually, but I ended up going with. Yes, I should have, but I ended up going with this match because this was really our first real sign that Music Inc. was gonna be an incredible player in this tournament. I mean, before that, I think he had uh before that he had Alf, and nothing against Alf, but when you're coming into a tournament as a rookie, you definitely don't expect to win a lot. But Alf did great, and then his second match was against Music, and Music swept him. And then going into Fanium versus Music Inc., Fanium was by far the favorite heading in. I mean, you're talking a 4-time champion here, someone who has been as dominant as he has. As In For Fun was actually talking about in the R15 chat earlier today, Fanium has now made a grand finals appearance in 4 different years. To be that dominant for that long is another level. And then Music Inc. comes in here, and he's sweet. Or, no. No, he doesn't sweep, but he comes very close. 6-2 against Fanium. And that's just an incredible performance. That was our first real sign that he was going to go far in this tournament. 4th place, I like Hitman versus Growery. And when this happened in Winners Bracket Round 3, and again, this was another breakout match for me. I mean, Growery coming in as a rookie, won his first 2 matches, really good, but when you're able to win against a former RR finalist, or even put up a really good fight against someone of that caliber of a player, it's just incredible. And I mean, I Like Hitman hasn't fallen off by any means either, because, RR12 recently, he was, 3rd place? RR13, he did really good. Did really good in the World Championship this past year. Didn't play in RR14, but, he came back in RR15, and everyone expected him to make a deep run at most. I mean, I was checking the challenge predictions, and I saw his name more than a couple of times making top 4, top 5. And Growery takes the match 7-3. And that was a really impressive performance on both players. Really fun match as well. Number 3, I have Big Machete 13 versus 37. This also happened in the Winners Bracket Round 3. Big Machete is a really good player. And although this was a 37 sweep, this is one of those matches where the score just doesn't tell the story. I mean, I believe I was the main caster for that match, and I had a blast casting it. I mean, Big Machete, really good player, really good player. This match had 3 maps. It was a really, really good match. And if I recall correctly, Haven Island was map 3, and it literally came down to a few seconds. It was neck and neck all the way. Great match. Number 2, Fanium versus Moo, Winners Bracket Round 2. And I think Muffin was the other person that had this match on their top 5, but when you've got 2 names like that in a round 2 matchup, you're in for a show. And they definitely did not disappoint, giving us a 7-5 classic. I mean, both players played really well. The maps were an absolute blast to watch. And yeah, not really much more I can say about that other than incredible. Number 1, you probably all saw it coming. Scruffy versus Joker J. the match really did have everything. I mean, you had it was across 2 days, a winners bracket round 4 match, and two of the best players currently. I mean, Joker J was back on top of his game. I mean, he was in prime Joker J form in this game. Scruffy, definitely played amazing. As always, you've got a 2-time champion now versus a finalist. And normally you would expect that match to be fairly matched, but when you got a player like Scruffy, I think everyone just expects Scruffy to just about sweep all of his opponents at this point. Maybe there's like one or two players that like you'd expect to, take a map or two, but and this is no offense at all to Joker J. I just personally do not think anyone expected Joker to perform as good as he did. And he goes in there, he takes one map, Scruffy takes one map. They have 4 ties actually. And then you have a map 6 get respun because of a photo finish tie. Incredible match, one for the ages. And yeah, end off with Daisy.
All right, all right.
I'm updating it. Give me a second.
You good?
Wait. Forgot one thing. There we go. All right, you have the floor.
Yahoo. Okay, so for my top 5, I got it's not ordered anyway, but Scruffy versus Joker. First of all, like that was just a story. That was a whole ass story. So like it's everything from like how close the match was to the photo finish controversy to like the whole ass, like I think everyone said everything on Scruffy versus Joker. So after that, Reaper versus Music, I feel like that was the moment where we were like, oh shit, like Music's in this. Like I'm not talking like he's in this to like, win a couple matches. He's in this to win RR. Because like, last tournament, Reaper 47 was looking untouchable. We were thinking like, oh shit, like is Reaper gonna be like, is he gonna win next RR? Like he's like breaking his curse, he's like, putting in work, but Music just came in and just smack it up. Anyways, David Red Sox versus Dean Nomos. I find that to kind of represent this whole tourney, as Observer was saying earlier, it's new versus old. And that was just a very solid match, very fun match to watch. I enjoyed it heavily. So it was just really cool to see David Dean play. Solid match, yeah. All that. Fanium versus Dean. I chose that one because it's like it was a very close match too, but it almost kind of showed like the different play styles of Roulette very well, which I enjoyed. Fanium with the more, fast pace, risky play style that, either makes him win a lot or bites them in the ass and causes them to go to losers. Or, Dean, he's very safe, very methodic. But then there was that, Berlin where they both just kept ripping over and over again. It was just wild to watch that live. Like so wild because you have these like, players that we look up to and they're like, oh yeah, these are like untouchable players. And then that Dubai spin just completely fucks them up. And then the funniest match of RR15 and arguably of all time, Rocky versus Moo. Holy fuck. Everything about that match. From Rocky kind of like, having internet issues, making it like, oh man, he's playing Berlin in the middle of Mendoza. But then in the middle of the Mendoza, he just wins and upsets Moo out of all matches. It's the one we couldn't see. And like I watched it back and it was so fucking clean from Rocky. I'm so sad that we didn't see. And then on Moo's end, what is it? It was just funny to see like the SD of him like putting a bomb near the falling object chandelier, and I don't know, just the entirety of that match was just so funny that that's not really something you see in a roulette rival. It's normally like super hyper serious. Everyone's all sweaty. Casters are, trying to analyze every little move. And that one is just, if you were to watch any of these matches with a beer in hand, that's the one you do it with. So yeah, that's my top 5.
All right. And as as the image states, these are only a top 5 list, but there's so many more matches that could have made the cut. Like, I mean, this tournament was absolutely stacked. I mean, you've got Fanium Observer where, Brickler fails for 2 players simultaneously. You've got Osh Observer, which was a really good match. You've got David and King Camel, which, was insane. You've got Reaper versus Ducker, which was the moment when everyone was like, oh my god, Prime Ducker is back. There's so many more that we could have chosen, but, I do think that this was a really good representation of, a top 5 for RR from each of us. And up next, we have Froat joining us for an interview. You want to go ahead and hop in the channel, Froat? Hello? All right. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey everyone. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Pretty good.
All right. Can chat here, Frody. All right.
I hope so. Hey, what up? How's it going?
All right. Now, I'll take the first question if y'all don't mind. First off, I want to start by saying, really incredible tournament, Fruit. Sad to see you drop to Fanium earlier today, but great match and really good gameplay all around. How does it?
Yeah, thanks, man.
And I think my first question is going to be, can we see you back for the Roulette Rivals World Championship this year?
I mean, that kind of answers itself, right? Like, me and Dakar are the only 2 that have never missed the tournament. So, yeah, you can count me in.
All right, wonderful. All right.
Yeah, I got a question. Frody,
Yes, Daisy.
why did you start RR? Like, how did that happen? You know?
Oh, that's really going down the history lane, eh? Yeah, sure. That's a cool question. So, like, it all started kind of with Cody, like legendary Hitman player, who developed like a roulette type software just for something to do for players after they get bored just doing the main missions. So you can just randomize your objectives, right? Then fast forward like 1 or 2 years, a very good friend of mine, Mandy, that most of you know, we were talking, and I was like, "Hey, let's do a match like that sometime versus each other." And we did, and we had a lot of fun, honestly. And that was back in 2018, roughly, something like that. I'm not exactly remembering, like years ago, right? But that was a lot of fun. But it was kind of like a one-time thing. Then in 2019, we started like the speedrun community, and we had Ghost Mode tournament. Well, it started with just speedrun competitions, right? Just contracts. Then later on, we added Ghost Mode. And then me and other admins were just thinking like, what else could we do? And then I was thinking back of that roulette match I had with Mandy and how much fun I had. And then I explained the whole format to the other admins, and we turned it into to a tournament. It was very much very amateurish at that point. Roulette Rivals 1. Then, like after that, in Roulette Rivals 2, I want to say Mr. Mike stepped in, and because of him and hitmaps, like it just went to a whole completely different level in terms of professionalism. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. I hope that answered it all.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, wonderful answer.
I have a question for you, Frode.
Yeah.
Going through two somewhat challenging matches in your last two matches, is there anything that you regret from this tournament, playing wise or just in general?
No, not really. I mean, of course, if you look back, you can always say, yeah, I should have done that or I should have done that better. But in broader perspective, like the months before this, like I've barely touched roulette. And I even was on a holiday and I came back during the tournament. And it was like exactly 3 weeks ago from now. And since then, I've been practicing again. So, like, in terms of performances, I'm not where I want to be, where I feel comfortable at. But I am very, very, very happy with the top 3 spot. Honestly, that was above expectations. And it does give me the motivation to just keep on practicing every day until the World Championship and get back on my old level. Because I'm not there yet, but overall I'm very happy with this tournament, how it went.
And yeah, I guess I'll finish up with my question. Also, congrats on
Hey.
the marriage, Frog.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Never
it.
got to say it to you in call, but yeah, sick to see. Yeah, my question was going to be, what's your opinion on like the growth of roulette? Like we're seeing, like I wouldn't say ups and downs, but we're seeing a change a lot, right? And different stuff coming out of it, and different people joining. What's your like whole what would be like your encompassing statement for how it's gone from day one, from when you were doing like 10-minute Paris spins to now when it's just like everybody's saying Reki spin every single spin?
So we're just talking about in terms of like how the overall skill level progressed, like from beginning to the end, or what's exactly?
Yeah, whichever you think, like the skill level or the metas, or how people might approach or how people might perceive roulette. Like, what do you think it's like evolved into, in your opinion?
Yeah. No, great question. Well, first of all, what I would like to start out with is like that it's still insane to me that like 5 years after I had the idea to make a tournament out of it, that it's still going, and we're like currently in the 18th tournament, 19th even. This is number 19, and the World Championship will be tournament number 20, which is just like absolutely insane when you think about it, because it was just like a random idea 5 years ago, and it's still going strong. And yeah, over the years, like of course, not every tournament has as much participants or interests as the others. I mean, I think that's a normal thing. Like people have outside lives too. Sometimes you need a break from the game, whether it's patches or new stuff coming out or whatever, right? But I feel like this year has been a really strong year for RR in general. Especially the year started out great after an amazing World Championship, of course. RR13 seen a record amount of participants for a regular RR. We had a little less this time around, but also like it's summer, it's holiday season. A lot of people are busy, right? And I think like in terms of numbers and enthusiasm, I think it's still great to see how people are like fully into roulette mode. You can just sense the enthusiasm as soon as like a roulette rivals gets announced, right? Like everyone is hyped, like the signups, everyone is talking, the RR chat goes open, like everyone is hyped. People in chat, like every single match like gets like 40, 50, 60, and the further we go, like more and more viewers consistently throughout the years, which is just absolutely amazing to me. Second part of your question, what's like RR1 and RR15 right now, like it's almost you can't compare the two in terms of skill level, right? And I feel there's definitely a couple of different eras in terms of skill level. Like I feel like well, one of the biggest things was Hitman 3 coming out, right, with RR4. Like that introduced like 5 new maps, so people had to relearn basically 1/3 of the map pool. Then after that, I would say like tournaments 10, 11, 12, we really saw a big skill level rising with new strats arriving, and that trend has only been continuing into this year, and it keeps on going. And it's still amazing to me how like 5 years in, we still are finding new strats like every single tournament that we play, there's like 10 new strats, whether niche or huge finds. Like it's just amazing to me that the overall skill level and the strats are still evolving and still getting better, and that's just, I don't know. I think that's something beautiful, and I hope it doesn't stop anytime soon. I don't plan on stopping it, so I'm still finding a lot of stuff as well, and I hope to see a lot of new finds from the player base for the upcoming World Championship as well. So yeah, all in all, in a very healthy state. I'm very impressed with the overall skill level and the way it's been developing. Honestly, evolving. It's just amazing to see.
Yeah, no, amazing answer. And yeah, like you said, I think the passion's always going to be here. So I don't think Roulette Rivals is going to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, and also just the fact like how willing everyone is to help each other, right? Like share strats and give feedback. And if there is a new find, we immediately share it with everyone to look into it. Like it's so, at this point, it's so rookie friendly, right? With like all the amount of data and info and guides and videos and whatever else is available now, right? Like if people just have to put like the motivation in, the work in, and like all the info is there, which makes like stepping into roulette a lot scary, because it wasn't like that a couple of years ago when there weren't any guides. I think back then we only had a guide by Janini and Infofon, like in a written form. That was even before the buff guy videos, and even the buff guy videos are old now compared to all the info we have now, right? But like back then, that's just intimidating to like having to learn so many maps on your own, pretty much for the most part. And now there's just so much help, and like just the community helping each other is a beautiful thing to see. And that's also part of the reason why we see so many great rookies every tournament, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's never been as accessible as it is right now. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that you don't see RR, like leaving in a very long time. I'm kind of curious, like, let's say Frody like either gets a kid or like life stuff, and he can't do RR. Would RR die with Frody, or would you hand it off to another community member?
No,
Or what would that look like?
RR would die as soon as the community as a whole loses interest in it. It won't live or die by one person.
That's very true.
And actually, I'm planning like when I do have a kid, and then when he grows up and he's like 14, 15, 16, he's gonna be like a RR champion number of RR 47 or whatever.
Oh yeah, let's
however
do
far
it.
we are, you know.
Absolutely, let's go. Absolutely. Bro Junior coming in RR 28, y'all heard it here first.
Right, that would be sick.
All right.
That would be sick.
No, but honestly, like I said, RR World Championship, the upcoming one, 24, is gonna be tournament number 20 in total. So we would have had 15 regular RRs, and this is the 5th World Championship. It is already an insane number, and like I said, the numbers are still growing strong. The community is still absolutely loving it. So yeah, I see no reason why it should stop anytime soon. As long as the people are enjoying it and they're willing to participate, I don't see it dying at all.
All right. I've got another question. All right.
Yeah.
So, across the past 3 tournaments, we have seen an incredible amount of signups. And, we've seen some people returning after long breaks. We've seen several rookies. I mean, R14 alone had like 13 different new players signed up. What is one player that isn't a current finalist or podium placement? One player who has never placed on the podium that you really enjoy watching and think could potentially win it in the future?
Currently, we're talking about this year, like 2024, or how far back are we gonna go?
Yeah, let's do 2024. Like,
right. Well, if I had to pick one name that has been like kind of been impressive to me, like for a good year now. He actually fills in all all the criteria of your question, I'd have to go for fertility, honestly. If I pronounce his name right, he's an absolutely amazing, strong player. Also in Roulette League, he came to the first division now. He's been absolutely killing it. He's just missing that last step to push himself into the top 3 into one of these tournaments. But like, if he keeps on pracking, I could definitely see that happening. Honestly, there's a lot of great potential. Absolutely amazing player. If I have to pick one,
All right, thank you.
because we got players like Joker, Reaper, Music, or others that have already placed in the podium. Like top 3 is podium to me, right? And
yeah,
I'd say for 2024, Quatility would be my my name for that. Who I could see doing really well in either World Championship or the RRs next year in 2025.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I got one for you, Frode. Talking about strats and stuff, do you ever foresee certain strats that like getting banned to kind of prolong like a match so that like all the matches aren't like the exact same strategy going back to back, or do you think it's just go for the fastest route and see how the players go?
I mean, it depends on what gets found, right? And then we, like, after every tournament, we evaluate things with feedback, and we discuss it with the admins. We look what the community thinks, and we will see if a new found tag is ban worthy, yes or no. We do have some rules in place, like as to what just simply is banned and will never get unbanned. But up to that, like, there is some flexibility with it, and like, the rules are guided by the community in that sense, and also the other way around. Like, it's kind of like they work hand in hand with each other, and they influence each other, right? So it's hard to say what will get banned or what will what will be the way of roulette in some years from now. But I still think it will remain somewhat grounded.
All right. I got a question too. So let's say there's been like a lot of community events and stuff. And let's say there's somebody who's like newer, they've been seeing RR or like other community events and they're inspired. Is there any advice or like anything like that that you'd give to somebody who would want to host like a RR or something similar to it?
Honestly, just reach out to people who have done so already. Like, it's best to just discuss that with people who are involved in organizing events like that, and they would help you out for sure. It's very short, very basic, but I think that's just the easy, simple answer, Daisy. Just reach out to just like in the real world, right? Like, just reach out to people that you want to learn from and give it your shot, and then pay attention and do your thing.
That's great.
Yeah, I agree completely with that. I mean, putting this together, there's several people I reached out to, and I don't think I could have, without the help that I got, whether it was Observer helping me figure out After Effects with the graphics, or and for fun providing us with statistics, or just the casters volunteering to come on and be part of this, this show wouldn't be happening right now. So yeah, as part of that, yeah, definitely reach out. But, all right, well, I think if no one has any more questions, I think we're gonna go to our second ad break. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoyed seeing you play, and look forward to seeing you back in RWC. But yeah.
You will, don't worry. I'm usually the first one that signs up. It's kind of been a tradition. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Was fun.
Of course.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you, Fro.
All right.
All right, see you later, guys. See you later, Ted.
See you.
See ya.
See you soon.
All right, when we come back, we will discuss what, something that I personally have been looking forward to. We will be discussing and predicting the outcome of the winners bracket finals, also known as, or, well, not the winners bracket finals, the absolutely grand finals of Roulette Rivals 15. All right, that's next coming up, but first, here's some ads. Alright, welcome back everyone. And this will be our final section, so the next time we say bye, it will be the last time. But, anyways, so, one of the biggest matches is coming up. And that is the Grand Finals. For the Grand Finals, we have two players, Music Inc. and Fanium. Now, this is a very good matchup that we have been hyped for ever since, the first matchup between these two happened. I mean, first matchup was really good in itself. But, just to highlight a couple of things, I mean, you rarely see anyone with a higher win rate than Fanium. Fanium, I mean, you've got probably Scruffy, I think, Time, maybe. But there's very few players that have a higher win rate than Fanium. And Music is in his second tournament and has a win rate of 82%, map win rate of 73%, compared to Fanium's 77% and 69%. Now, of course, Fanium does have more experience, having played 97 matches with 360 maps total, compared to Music's 11 matches and 41 maps. But something else to look at, I mean, in his 11 matches, Music Inc. has only lost 2. And this is his second tournament, so it's very impressive to see that the only time he's lost to this point was in the last tournament. And the stats just across the seasons as well. I mean, Music is undefeated on quite a few maps. I mean, he's got a 100% win rate on Marrakesh, Bangkok, Hokkaido, Miami, Alice Gale, New York, Haven, Chongqing, Mendoza, and Ambrose. I the amount of maps he is currently undefeated on is insane. I was scrolling through these statistics. I don't think I saw Fanium has no undefeated maps remaining. However, on the maps that Music does not have an undefeated record in, Fanium almost always has the better win rate. The only exception is Dubai, where they share the map win rate of 75%. And, this is really just goes to show you how well Music has been performing for his second tournament. So, with those statistics out of the way, let's get to predicting. Alright, I'm going to start with Muffin. Who do you have taking it? And what's the score?
I think so. What, it's a match of 10, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I think I have Music taking it either 10-6 or 11-7. And funnily enough, me and Daisy got to interview Fanium after their win against Froat, and Fanium talked about in Music in their original match that Fanium didn't really think that Music Inc. was going to be as much of a challenge. But so I'm expecting a very tight match going to grand finals.
All right, Observer.
Yeah, I'm very on the fence about it, but I feel I'll stick with my gut. I do think it's going to be a Fanium win, and I'm saying around like 11-7 is a good number. These players are obviously going to be chasing photo finishes on the maps that they are going to be playing, which I was just checking, and yeah, there's some quick ones in there. We have Dartmoor in there, we have Dubai in there, we have New York as the opener, so there's 3 maps in that pool that could easily be within seconds of each other. So yeah, I think we're gonna see the best of the best. So I'll stick with I'll stick with 11-7 for Fanium.
All right. Now, personally, all right, I've got Music Inc. taking this, and looking at the maps that are going to be played, you've got New York, you've got Sapienza, you've got Dubai, Miami, and Santa Fortuna as like the base five. Those are going to be the five played either way. And honestly, I do see a lot of photo finishes happening. I'm not sure I see as many ties. I think Fanium takes anything that gets close enough for a photo finish based on his PS5 load times. But I'm gonna say 10-6 as the score, with Music Inc. taking the win and grabbing his first ever title. Daisy?
Okay, so I mean, like this can go either way, right? Although it's weird because Fanium, like we did hear earlier, he is going to take music a lot more seriously, quote unquote. But like music has the power of the people. Like a lot of people want him to win. Everyone's cheering him on. So he knows he has to practice his ass off, not just for him, but for a lot of people. So that could go both ways. Either that could like build him up, hype him up, and make him play out of his fucking mind, or we could actually see him crumble under that. Like he has so much pressure from everybody that he just, kind of cracks down and then, kind of falls apart. So, I guess for the sake of it, I'll just say that I'll think it's a close, like, let's say 6-10 on I can see Fanium kind of taking it because like he has way more Grand Finals experience. He's gonna have a better time handling the pressure. I'm sure Music like he can handle pressure pretty well, especially considering his winners finals match. But at the same time, we can, like I said, just everybody wants to win. This is the time, and then Fanium kind of has that like brushed off him. Not like there isn't people who want to see him win. Like I want to see him win, but at the same time, like just not having all that could easily make a difference.
All right. With those predictions set in stone, let's head to our final interview of the evening if Joker wants to hop in. Shoutcasters 1? All right. Welcome in.
Hello. No, thank you.
Hey.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Joker J here joining us for an interview. And does anyone want to start us off or?
Sure. Joker. First of all, if I kind of chuckled because that profile picture always gets me. I don't think I ever love it. But I'm kind of curious. Like as a player, you've been playing for a while. Do you remember like the first opponent you beat, and you were like, damn, like I did that. Like you impressed yourself. Kind of like you surprised yourself in a way.
My first game was I was like, oh shit. Like, I was new. I was like, fuck, I gotta play Colors my first map. And I think I ripped once on it, then I did like 10 in-game times with. Miami was the map too. Won that, and that's back when it was only first to four, the first few rounds. Won that, then I had, who did I have in round? I think I had Conrad in round 2 of RA. Which is again like a rookie at the time as well. And that was like I picked a Kylo, so my best 2 maps almost had gone. And I picked Wilson even. So I won the first team 4 and I thought this is quite easy this. Because at the time I didn't know who was who as such. Like I just went to games like not knowing who people were and how good they were. And I played Linux in round 3 and I think I was almost a bit wake up call because I won the first 2 maps. I thought this is a fucking piece of this, and then I lost the next 2 maps and won them by then on to sweep Kenny and Buff to get to the grand final. I thought Mate, I'm the shitter. And that's the thing. Like, I still remember that Miami spin the other day. It still scarred me. It was like Sierra Fall and Robert consumed poison as Moses Lee, and it was like that was back in the day where Sierra Fall, we didn't know about the ceiling shot to get up to the security room upstairs. So we always relied on doing the paddock, so we had to isolate the paddock, knock out her girlfriend, and her dump her over the step. Mate, it was chaos back in the day, and then having to combine that with consumed poisons Moses Lee for Robert, it was horror. Then I'd stand up. But yeah, I do remember all the games, but I always seem to remember, especially in like recent times, always seem to remember the ones I've lost and the maps I've lost more than I think. Like I've played 26 Dartmoors, I've lost 3 of them. I could tell you each time what I've lost and how I've lost and what I've done wrong. Then that's just how it works. So. But I'm talking quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean you're being interviewed. You talk a lot, but it's like I get it. More of like a the mind seeks out the negative naturally type thing.
Yeah. I always
Joker,
look for the things I can improve on.
Yes. Sorry. For interrupting. Looking at your matches that you've played this tournament, you've played against both players who are in the grand final. What is your thoughts on said grand final? And who do you have coming out ahead?
I think just I've known him for so long, and like I think the first person I was like good friends with in the community was Fanium. Like even like when I started Ben RR, like that final was good because we were just 2 main playing and such. But I just got to go with Fanium. I think the games of music had against me and Throat, I could have gone both ways. I think me and Throat both made mistakes in them games, and music as well made the mistakes in the maps we won as such. In the game could have gone either way, but I mean, Fanium just absolutely demolished me, and he beat Throat, I think, convincingly to day 8 too. And I think he's just on that run. He's practicing, and when Fame practices, like me, he's fucking unstoppable. I think I've got him coming out. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you the score and how close it'd be, but I think Fame takes that one.
All right. I've got a question. So, we talked about it earlier on the show, but probably the upset of the tournament was you defeating Scruffy. What was going through your mind as like all of that happened?
I don't know if my voice's still up, but I played my mic on mute. You can probably hear my reaction. I think when I won that Miami, I literally slammed my headphones off and just jumped around my room. I was just so happy with it. And then like I woke up the next morning because I didn't have school, so I was sleeping until like 10 o'clock. And I woke up to like Discord notifications on my phone. I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to play him again, aren't I? I thought I'd won it, but no. I mean, I was like, shit. I was like so proud of this. I'm like all gassed up myself, And then yeah, I mean, like it was never in my mind that I just wanted to take the win no matter what. Like I'm not gonna be the one to win in a shitty way as such. I think that's what it felt like. If I hadn't clocked, that's if I hadn't clocked. But yeah, like I was always gonna replay it, and then I think I spent the entire day just playing Bangkok on the middle note, playing Bangkok bats and strat. And then to draw that first Bangkok, it was like, what the fuck's happening? We already had 2 timeout. We already had 2 photo finish ties, a timeout tie, and it's just like, what's happening in this game? That we're playing 7 maps in the first 6. It's like, what? It was surreal. I think it's the way to put it. And when I won the Bangkok as well, because I had that rip, right, the loud shotgun on Ken, and somehow I missed the first shot. I still don't know how I did it. I missed the first shot without shotgun. I went into lockdown, guards panicked. I didn't change the skies. I thought I could just beat Otis out and was come down me. And that point, I don't think I've hit my desk as hard. I've hit my desk hard sometimes. I was like, fuck, I've lost it. Then of course Scruffy ripped, and I was doing that quick kill. He was still peeking in Jordan. And then I got to the exit. I was like, well, where's the photo finish? Like, where's the Scruffy press done 25 seconds earlier type thing? And then the thing came through. I think I jumped around my room even more again, to be fair.
Incredible.
Yeah, and I guess I'll finish it up. How you doing, Joker? Been a while.
You know that, yeah. Alright. This is the first time I sat down and chatted with people in ages.
Yeah, it's been it's probably been like a year or so from VC training with Moore's Coffee.
Mate, like these, mate. Remember the Fall Guys back in Stuffers and said, "Oh, so good." I remember them nights. It was so good.
Yeah, a lot of us started playing because of how amazing people in that VC were. But yeah, it's crazy to see how awesome people are doing. But yeah, to be honest, most of the questions I was going to say are pretty much covered by the answers you gave. So I don't have too much. I guess I was going to say who would be your underdog for these Roulette rivals? Is there anybody that you're seeing that, like we kind of asked for earlier, that you think has potential that hasn't won yet or hasn't touched gold, silver, or bronze yet that you think has a really big chance?
I think I'm gonna say, like, of course, Ducker's won 6 RRs, but they were back in the day, and he hasn't since RR6 or RR7. And I think recently Ducker's been. I didn't expect Ducker to get as far as he did, quite frankly. I really didn't. For me, he's been a real standout. But in terms of people that haven't won it, possibility, like Throat said, definitely. I'd love to see Reaper win one. I know he got to the final, but still, I'd love to see him win one. I like Hitman. Mate, he's been around since the start, and he's got to the final. But I just love to see him get really far again. He hasn't in a while. And I think he likes Dartmoor as well, so I mean it's even better when they do. Yeah, I think there was one. I want Buff to come back and win something.
Oh my god!
That'd be
I mean, that's just console bias, I think.
Imagine me open up YouTube and there's a new What is Hitman Roulette playlist ready to premiere.
Yeah, fucking 4 hours long, 40-minute over it's in one video. I love it.
Hopefully, we'll have to itch him about that. Maybe we can get a buff guy out of retirement, get him off Tekken or whatever goddamn game he's playing lately.
All right. All right. So, first of all, do you plan on coming back for Roulette Rivals World Championship this year? And
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Second, you are currently seated as a number 2 overall. The last one actually with 38 points. Who is someone that you really want to avoid in your group?
So I'll be real. I ain't seen the season, but I'm not real quick, so I can do something quick. Rouse. I think, of course, you don't want to be put with any of the seed ones, but you're gonna have to, you know. But
Yeah.
I think there's just stack players everywhere. I think seed 3 is scary. Seed 2 particularly. I like Hitman Sparkles.
Yeah, you
got
went
some big
from
names
the
down at
bottom
seed.
of seed 4 to the bottom of seed 2. You actually jumped up 2 whole seeds exactly.
Yep.
Because of your performance in this Roulette Rivals.
Yeah, I looked at the start. Like, fuck, I only got 10 points in R13. I had a stinker. So that, okay, this is like my main motive. I think I didn't set any expectations on myself this RR because I didn't play in the last one. I played like a few league matches before this. But my expectation was just to try and get top of seed 3. Although like where you place in seed doesn't matter. I want to be higher seed 3 just in case there's any dropouts. You still have a chance of pushing up. But I mean, you have like Chrome. You have Rune in seed 7. How mental is that? Like Rune is a really good player as well. Enoch, Rommel, Red Fox, some random person in seed 8, and I mean, I just want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in a group of anyone. I just want to be blown up into the bracket, the KO bracket straight away. But I'm looking forward. Like, and the good thing about this is looking to be 64 players. So which means it should hopefully be 8 full groups, which means 7 Dartmoor picks at the end of the day. And that's what I want. That's what I need. Just get my Dartmoor picks up.
Yeah. All right. Well, does anyone else have any questions or?
Joker J. What do you like about the Peppa Pig? What's about it for you?
So I had something else. I had a bet with Papia. RR9 or WC's maybe. And I had a game against Fame, I think it was. And you had a bet like if I didn't get a map record in this game, he could change my profile picture to whatever it was. and it was and then I didn't, of course. It was the original Peppa Pig emoji, Peppa Pig one that is an emoji and Observer. Then Observer made me special ones for Halloween and Christmas, which I love.
My
Then
God, what a
it was go. I love it. And then like the blue egg came out, and somehow I changed my profile picture to that. And then Peter Dutton made this cursed thing. I thought, fuck it, I'll fire as well. Like, there's no harm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was literally I lost the bet, and that's why I had it. And it's just on from there.
Great story.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Joker. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, and can't wait to see you back. Hope you do well in the next tournament. And
So too.
all right. With that being said, we are going to transition to our final segment of the day, which is Roulette Rivals World Championship winners and losers. So, what this segment is, the goal is a fast-paced segment where we discuss, who was hurt by this tournament, who was helped by this tournament when it comes to Roulette Rivals World Championship point standings. And thanks to the help of In4Fun, we have access to a before and after sheet. So, let's talk first about the winners. Obviously, first person that comes to my mind, Music Inc. I mean, prior to this tournament, they were 19th overall with 21 points from RR14. And from this tournament, they have jumped to not only the bottom 8th seed, or the bottom 1 seed, with 76 total points, but they have a chance to secure a top 4 if they win this tournament. Just an incredible jump from middle of the pack 3rd seed to a top 1 seed. But yeah, another winner that I had in mind was actually Rocky. And Rocky, prior to the World Championship, was sitting at about a low 6 seed, possibly would fall into the 7th, or possibly would fall into the 7th depending on who signs up and who doesn't. But Rocky actually made a quite deep run in Roulette Rivals 15, jumped all the way to 4th seed with a total of 14 points. So really impressive job by Rocky there, and this tournament definitely qualified him as a RRWC winner.
I think also just looking at the rookies that we have as well, with we have Grory getting into that's seed 4, I think.
Yeah.
With a pretty good one, and King Camel as not exactly a rookie full time, but getting those 10 points for the season to get up there as well.
Yes, this was King Camel's first tournament this season, actually. So yeah, that definitely helped him out as well. Crazy4Daisy, y'all got anyone in mind?
I can quickly follow up. The one player I was going to say is actually Frody, who he had a rough point score for R13, but they really stepped it up, and they went from the mid of seed 2 to potentially, depending on the final, securing a seed 1 with, which has to be it's just 76 points for one of them. They were out in like 1 or 2 rounds. It's just a testament to Frody that they
I want to say he
finished
33rd, I think, in R13 or something. So really did not have a good first tournament of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
R13 was rough for him. I think he went out to Yanini in either the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket, but really great matchup, but yeah, was not really the best showing for him, but he did definitely turn it around across the last two tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was also going to say Luke and Joker for the same kind of reason. The gaps in their resume and still maintaining a seed 2 is just awesome to see. Getting 2 good placements in the 2 other RRs when other people who've done all 3 are like fighting for their lives, me included. Fighting
So
for their
am
lives
I.
to stay in.
Very much the special, the way R14 was, is what's actually sending me to the World Championships, because I think there was like 1 or 2 matches in losers bracket round 1 because of the amount of players. So I got a nice chunk of points there.
Yep. And on top of that, I'd also that same thing that qualifies you, Red Fox and random or some random person are also qualified as a guaranteed entry with a rank of 61 tied right now. I think the next segment on the sheet actually cuts it off at 64, so whoever ends up getting that 64th spot, depending on the amount of signups, of course, but if everyone on the sheet were to sign up, Muffin, Red Fox, and Random would all have clinched a spot because of the way this tournament fell. So definitely a RWC winner for sure.
All right. Oh,
Or go ahead.
okay. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of like, oh, dang it, right when Observer kind of mentioned Joker, because I do have to mention the 2 Brits. As an American, I don't want to, but, for the sake of fairness, I will give props that Joker and Linux were both on, seed 4. And then all of a sudden, like one tournament, Joker goes to seed 2, Linux goes to seed 4. So I kind of found that like cool with like a little like what is it story going on of the British rising in a way.
Yep. And and this is all for fun, so hopefully no one gets offended if we call them an RRWC loser. But I'm gonna start off the losers portion with Curry and Crescent. Now, Curry, there's really nothing he could have done. It was just unfortunate that enough people passed him in points as he didn't sign up this tournament. And Crescent, falling in losers bracket 2 this tournament, they have him tied at 9 currently. However, they are currently seated as a 5th seed on the sheet. Before that, Curry was a top 5 seed, and Crescent was a borderline 5 seed. But now both are guaranteed to be a 6 seed because of the tie between Apricope and Skylar in the 4th seed portion. So, whenever that tie is broken, one of those 2 will fall to the 4th seed, pushing both of them, who are currently tied for the 9th, 5th seed, out into the 6th seed.
Not exactly a loser, so I would say, but Volcat almost dropping down to 4th seed with just a loser bracket 2 elimination here in this tournament.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, and Pidgeotto and K Kaneda both, I think, would qualify as losers of our WC point standings as well. They have both fallen from middle of the range 2nd seed to the top 2-3 seeds, which is still a fall, not necessarily a significant one, but yeah, it still could be cause some interesting group points for the second seed and first seed in their group.
The only thing I guess I wanted to add was props to Channel, who is the only person without a win that maintained their exact position in the whole seed thing. At least as of now, I think it's impossible for. I think Fanium as well could. Right? I know Fanium is going up. So yeah, Channel is the only person who doesn't have a win that maintained his position, getting 10 points to keep them exactly in the same position. So props to them, because the rest of us didn't know if we were going up or down.
Yeah, I think everyone else on the spreadsheet moved at some point. Then, not necessarily losers, but I am going to put them in this category. Soviet, Max, Look It's Me, and B-Lol all, dropped out in losers bracket round 1, which, based off the seeding standings, they could very well still get into Roulette Rivals World Championship, but this currently leaves them below the 8th seed, so their hopes is that 64 players above them do not sign up at maximum, if they were to join. But yeah, I think that hit all the nails on the head that I wanted to cover. Does anyone else have anything?
No.
I think we covered the whole book.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I wanted to say thank you to Observer, Deadly Muffin Man, Crazy4Daisy, Fruit, Cabin, and Joker for all joining us at one point or another today. Shout out to everyone who watched, and yeah, I've had a great time. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Oh, I enjoyed it tons.
It was great.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and shout out to you as well, Pack, for the sick graphics and putting this together. Wouldn't have existed.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I do want to say, publicly, Pat, I am very proud of you of how far you're kind of taking the entertainment side of RR. Because, we've seen, of course, all the players improvements. You've introduced this, the replays. You've been, kind of bringing, that traditional sportsman to RR. And, even though, RR isn't, on television or whatever, the fact that you kind of treat it so, has been so cool to see. Ever since, the day where you did your, first, cast under Wacky Roulette, and then, making custom thumbnails for that, and, all that. I've just seen, all the passion and effort you put in. I highly appreciate that, Pack.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. R has been a life-changing experience for me. I've really enjoyed my time here. So I just feel like I want to, give back to the community for, as much as I possibly can. But yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Observer, for helping me figure out After Effects. Thank you, InfoFun, for getting the before and after sheets ready for the show. Thank you, Muffin and Daisy, and Observer for casting alongside me. Thank you, Froat, for coming on for the interview. Thank you, Joker and Cab as well, for coming on for the interview. And yeah, I think this has been a success. So, if it's nothing else, I guess I'll cut to the end and see y'all later. Have a good one.
Adios.
Peace.
See ya.